part of what you're doing now as we transition into the business side of it is LDP, land development. So you have a niche that most people are not aware of that, oddly enough, as we were talking earlier before, I tell people I'm a jack of all trades and master of none. I've done a whole bunch of things. And when I heard what you do, I was like, oh, wow, I did that. And I've always been like, I'd like to do it again. And so it's something you're doing every day. And part of the reason I didn't keep doing it is because it was very hard to find somebody who actually understands it to help teach you. And if you don't know what you're doing when you go through this process, you can be in a lot of trouble. It could cost you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources. So LDP, land development, man, talk about what it is, why it's awesome, and why are more people not aware of how this works and why it's so powerful?
Yeah, so LDP, land with development potential. So before I touch on what you just asked, can I tell you a sad thing about the online education space?
Yeah.
Is we've probably heard stories of those that go through coaching and then somehow they think because they just got coached, they're now qualified to coach. Okay. All right. So they turn around the next day and they start teaching it. Right. And I'm not going to say the name, but there's an individual, because like my space, land entitlements, I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, but I kind of own that space when it comes to online education, right? Like coaches, right? Or mentors, whatever you want to say. Like, that's kind of, we're known in that space more than anybody else. And I'm not going to say who it is, but it's an acquaintance of mine. And I saw that he was trying to come into my space, and which is fine. He has every right to. But the thing is, he knows nothing about the space, right? And so my team sent me one of his videos the other day, him talking about entitlements. And there was probably 3 to 5 things he said in that video that were like 100% completely inaccurate, right? And so when you talk about coming into the space and you can get yourself in trouble, right? You absolutely can get yourself in trouble. So my advice for anybody out there, do your due diligence on who you're picking to educate you, because there's a lot of people that are focused on, you know, the 10 grand for the course or whatever. They want your 10 grand. And so they're going to come into the space, even though they're not qualified even remotely to educate in it. So please, please, please pick your mentors, your coaches wisely. Do your due diligence, right? And so, all right, so why aren't more people doing it? Well, probably because more people aren't teaching it, right? Why aren't people more teaching it? Because they don't know how to do it. I just so happened to stumble across this, 23 years ago. And through trial and error, there was no Cody, Bjugan, or Vestrite back then. And so I just learned through trial and error, right? But I didn't start teaching it until 2019, 17 years later. And so do I feel qualified to teach it? Yes. Do I say I'm an expert in the space? Yes. But did I earn that? Yes. Right? And so, but it is, we have trademarked the best kept secret in real estate. We do think it's one of the best models in real estate. But I will tell you, I can instantly identify a newbie in the space because they do some things you do not do in our space, okay? Your typical real estate transaction closes in 30 or 60 days. Typical real estate transaction in my space is more like 18 to 24 months, okay? So when you go in and you make development, LDP stands for land with development potential. And so people think, oh, it's zoned for development, I can go develop it. Bro, no, that's not how it works. Like, you got to go through this entitlement process, which is a jurisdictional process where you get the land approved for development, okay? And until you go through that 18 to 24 month process, bro, you have nothing more than what you see sitting there today. And so you know how I can quickly identify a newbie? Because we usually pay 5 to 10 times the true as-is value of the land, right? So say the land's worth, whatever, 20 grand an acre, right? As ag land, farmland, whatever. We're probably paying 100 grand to 200 grand an acre for it, right? But the thing is, we don't close until we get the land approved for development, which is called the entitlements. And because I have this meat and potatoes way I say it, if I'm going to pay for a diamond, I got to make sure it's a diamond. And it's not a diamond until it's approved. So just know that if you come into my space and you make an offer at the same price I do, and you say you're going to close in 30 days, I instantly know you have no clue what the hell you're doing, right? That is the kiss of death, bro, because I've seen people do it and then they couldn't get the project approved and they're absolutely screwed, right? So be careful. high level, real quick. What is LDP? We go and source off-market land that has development potential. Real quick, why off-market? Well, because most stuff that's listed is either overpriced or there's something wrong with it. Okay. 2, another reason why we source off-market is because your business, it's hard for your business to scale if you're not in control of your own deal flow. So if you're sitting around waiting for stuff to get listed or for realtors to call you with pocket listings, whatever it may be, your business truly isn't scalable, right? Because you're not in control of your own deal flow, right? Step 2, we get the landowner to raise their hand. They're interested in selling, and we get them under contract, okay? But we get control of the land. We don't own the land. We get control of the land. And so Billy Bob, hey, Billy, your land is worth 500 grand a day. And so Billy, your aunt's telling you real estate deals close in 30 or 60 days. Well, your aunt doesn't know the space, but I tell you what, Billy, I'll close in 30 days, but I'm going to pay you 500 grand. Or Billy, if you give me 18 months, I'll pay you 2.5 million. So what would you rather have, Billy? 18 months, 2.5 million, or 500 grand tomorrow, right? Only once in my career has Billy ever said, I'll take the 500 grand tomorrow, right? So I get that control of the land, I get it, and then I go and entitle it, get it approved for development. And then what I used to then close on the land, develop it, put in all the utilities, the streets, the sidewalks, all that. And then I'd create what's called, say, a finished lot. And then I would even build homes, right? But what I do today is once it's approved for development, I exit to one of the home builders of America through what's called a double closing or simultaneous closing. So I use their money to pay the landowner, and I make my profits out of the middle for the value I created of getting the land entitled, right? I'd say on average, as is value to what I pay is 5 to 10x. As is value to what I sell it for is 10 to 20x, right? So give or take, we're shooting for a 2x multiple on what we bought it for. But if you think about the like our margin or IRR, you think about the financials of it, remember a big chunk of my costs, okay, which is the land, I use my buyer's money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, the home builders love this stuff because they're construction companies. Mm-hmm. They'd rather not deal with entitlements, right? They'd rather not deal with the 18 months. And, to remind everybody, and we also have a housing shortage in our country, right? And so that's super fulfilling because we're bringing inventory to the country. So that's high level of what LDP is.